welcome to Good Game Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N.
Coming up on the show, we get to grips with the game creation tool Project Spark.
Why, before the king? Wait until you see what I've created.
Why does that scare me, Bajo?
Wait till you see what I've created. We also check out the co-op couch platforming of Chariot.
Oh, I've also got a new episode of Totally Incompatible to share with you all. But first, it's time to test your gaming knowledge with a D.A.R.R.E.N's challenge. This week, I'm asking you this. Fire-breathing King Dodongo appeared as a boss in which classic action RPG? Answer at the end of the show.
Okay, guys, you ready for some gaming news?
Affirmative.
Thanks guys, Goose here with all the gaming news from around the world. Portal 2 has been ported into Minecraft. The crossover was previously available as a mod with a complicated install process. However, this new port allows players to access the level as a simple map and texture pack download. While the map is still considered in beta, there are already fully functioning portals and gels. We've reported on some pretty impressive speedruns in the past, but nothing quite like this. Video streamer Carl Jobst has raced his way through 3 Nintendo 64 classics at the same time. Jobst completed GoldenEye, Ocarina of Time, and Super Mario 64 simultaneously in 51 minutes. By swapping between games during loading screens, he was able to set an efficient pace. I spent years playing those games and he does it in less than an hour. Amazing! And that's all the news for this week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Goose. The king is dead.
Long live the king!
Yeah. Chariot is a 2D platformer with an interesting and slightly morbid twist. The king has sadly passed away, but his ghost remains.
Yes, his ethereal presence has one last request before it can move on. For his body to be buried deep amongst the labyrinth of the royal catacombs. He's a bit of a rude king, don't you think?
You call this a sepulchre worthy of my majesty?
Oh, I liked his attitude. A king demands respect, Bajo. But yes, this king has a lot of snark for someone who needs a favor, particularly one in a coffin with wheels.
Not a coffin, D.A.R.R.E.N, a chariot. The task is left to the princess and her fiancé to roll the king to his final resting place. And this is where the platforming comes into play, as you attempt to navigate the maze and find a suitable sepulchre.
As well as impressive upper body strength, the princess and her companion are each equipped with a rope. The rope can be hooked to the front or rear axle of the chariot to hoist it up ledges or over tricky gaps, all the while grabbing gems to appease the king.
There are some interesting level mechanics too, like the life and ethereal rails. The life tracks can only be walked on by the living, where the cart just rolls right on through, and vice versa for the ethereal tracks.
As you travel deeper into the catacombs, you uncover new zones to explore. Each of these has a new environmental element for you to tackle, such as darkness or ice.
Along with gems, you'll also be collecting blueprints. You use these to upgrade the chariot so that it can access the new areas.
Oh, give it up. I can't get any traction here. Pull me back and we'll find some winter wheels.
The blueprints also let you unlock nifty equipment to help you navigate the catacombs. You can slow time, or use a peg to hold the chariot in place, or even use distractions against the game's enemies, the looters.
Ah, the looters. They're always after your trinkets. They react to noises such as when the cart bangs against walls or when you grab those clinking, clattering jewels. Once they're after you, they're relentless.
You can fight back though. The princess has a sword and the fiancé has a slingshot to hold the beasts at bay.
Once you complete a mission, you'll have the option to replay it in speedrun mode. Completing a speedrun gains you some extra gems, but also puts your name on the online leaderboards so you can challenge your friends. It's always nice to have some friendly competition.
Yes, but this game's focus is more on teamwork with the game's drop-in, drop-out co-op. There are treasures within each zone which are unattainable without some clever cooperative play.
Yes, and playing solo, particularly in the later levels, can be frustrating as the gameplay gets more frantic.
It's still a fun experience, but the game is certainly at its best when you have a buddy on board.
Two arms!
I quite enjoyed my time with Chariot though. It's got some unique features that make it stand out, and it's one of the few arcade games that are actually on the new console, so I think it's worth a play. I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I thought it had a good difficulty progression, and the game is constantly throwing new ideas and tools your way, so I'm giving it 8 out of 10.
All right, now it's time for another episode of my sitcom, Totally Incompatible! Oh, roll the tape, Carrie. Oh. Totally Incompatible was filmed before a live studio audience.
Darren, I'm home! Oh, what a long day. But now I can review this game. All right, I've been waiting for this. Controller on. Ah, out of batteries. Where are the batteries? Okay. No. Can never find batteries when I need them. Nothing over here. Ah, no batteries, but a second controller. All right. Oh, motor oil. Darren!
Yes, Goosey?
Darren, did you put your oily pasta scoops all over the controller?
Negative.
And have you seen the batteries? I'm sure I had a spare pack around here somewhere, and now I can't find them.
Maybe they're down the back of the couch?
Darren, imagine you're coming home really eager to play a game. You pick up the controller and there are no batteries. Wouldn't that be frustrating?
No, affirmative.
And say you pick up the controller with your nicely clean, fresh hands to discover that it's covered in gunk and grot from another person. Wouldn't that be gross?
Oh, indeed it would be, Goose. You are most correct.
Darren, you have to be considerate about these things if you're going to share consoles with friends.
I'm sorry, Goose. I'll be more mindful next time.
Luckily, we can clean this up pretty quick.
Affirmative.
Now, where's the TV remote? Darren, do you have that too?
Goose, now that you mention it, I've been working on an integrated universal remote all day. Charging my remote.
Darren, what have you done to the TV?
Oh dear. I guess my remote is slightly out of alignment. But Goose, luckily we have handhelds.
Oh well, I guess that'll have to do for now.
Oh, dagnammit, mine is out. Charging my handheld.
Darren.
Darren, an important lesson for us all.
True that. Oh, it's time for you two to go to the Ask Good Game desk. Questions need answering.
All right, time to get our answer pants on. And the first question for this week is from J-Boy, 2003, who is in Bajo's Xbox 360 hard drive, which is in Queensland.
Hex, I didn't bring my answer pants today.
I'm sure your normal pants will be fine.
I didn't bring my normal pants either. I'm wearing my confused pants.
Oh. Hi, GGSP. I've got 2 questions. I've been asking you a million times, but I can't figure it out. 1. Can you put Xbox 360 and Xbox One discs in a Windows 8 computer? 2. My neighbour and I can't decide if we should buy a Xbox 360 or a Xbox One. Which one should we buy? Bajo, do these. Hex, do these. Okay.
Well, J-Boy 2003, technically it is physically possible to put a 360 or an Xbox One disc into a computer if you really wanted to. They're just DVD and Blu-ray discs, which will fit into any standard computer disc drive.
But And this is a big but, they're not going to work. Discs for game consoles are made so that they can only run on the specific consoles designed for them. So Xbox 360 discs will only run in an Xbox 360 and not a PC or an Xbox One or a PS3 or anything else that isn't an Xbox 360.
As for which console to buy, well, that's always a tough question, but I think it comes down mostly to one question. Are you happy playing some awesome but slightly older games, or do you want to be playing the latest and greatest but newer games?
It's worth remembering that as the new generation goes on, there's going to be less new games coming out for older systems. And if you get a 360, you'll be missing out on any games made exclusively for newer consoles. So if you want the most cutting edge and graphically impressive games, then the Xbox One is probably your best option.
But since the Xbox One and its games are all very new, they're also relatively expensive. The 360, on the other hand, is much older, and many of its games have been out for years now, so you can probably find them at discounted prices. So if you're on a tight budget and you don't mind playing through some older games, then the 360 would be our recommendation.
Also, the 360 has about 2,000 games available for it at the moment, whereas the One only has about 100. So you have a lot more to choose from if you go with the 360.
Yes, but also remember, don't discount the PS3 or the Wii, because they both have an excellent back catalogue of games as well, and they're all around the same generation.
Just to make your decision harder for you. But let's move on to this one now from Yoshi, who is behind you in Queensland. I think we've established now when they say that they're behind us, they're not actually behind us.
No, I can see Yoshi.
Really? Ah, you tricked me.
Prank hex. Hi GGSP, I'm a really big fan of yours. Can you please help me on Clash of Clans? It has been really annoying me. Why does everybody keeps attacking me? How can I stop people from raiding me? Bajo is awesome. Hex is cool. And Darren is a noob. Yoshi out.
Well, Yoshi, getting raided is just a fact of life in Clash of Clans. It's an integral part of the game, and you just have to accept that it's going to happen a lot.
Absolutely. And they're not doing it for any personal reason. It's just that raiding other players is a great way to get resources and earn trophies.
We can give you a few tips, though, that might help ease the pain a bit. So firstly, if you don't have many resources in your storage, then you're not going to be a very tempting target. So try to spend as much of your gold and elixir as you can. That way people are less likely to attack you.
Obviously, you need to save up lots of gold and elixir to buy upgrades, so at some point you're going to have a big stash of resources lying around. But generally, people leave you alone if you don't have much to steal.
One thing you might want to do if you don't care about getting trophies is to put your town hall outside of your base. It might sound like a bad idea, but a lot of players are just after easy trophies.
This is true. So yeah, just put your town hall outside your base, and then players will often just attack that and won't go after your resources. Problem solved.
And when they destroy your town hall, then you get a 12-hour shield, which will stop players attacking you.
Oh, love a 12-hour shield. And having a shield is really the only guaranteed way to stop players attacking you. Sadly though, the only way to get shields is either to be attacked or spend a significant amount of premium gems to buy one.
At the end of the day, you're going to get raided sooner or later. All you can really do is just try to have a good base design with strong defenses and just hope for the best.
Yeah, there is one other thing you can try doing, and it's what we like to call trophy dumping. Basically, just go and raid other players with just one single unit and then end the battle. This will mean you lose the battle and lose some of your trophies. Then repeat that a whole bunch of times until you've lost loads of trophies.
Ah yes, trophies work as a sort of matchmaking system so that players can only attack other players who have a similar number of trophies as they have, and the lower level players tend to have far fewer trophies than more powerful players. So if you don't have many trophies, you're far less likely to be raided by a powerful army.
Indeed. And finally, you should go out raiding for yourself. If you can launch a few successful attacks, then chances are you'll be able to steal more resources from others than they can steal from you.
Well, good luck with it, Yoshi, but moving on now to this one from Cam in Arimba, New South Wales.
I just wanted to say that Darren must be a noob. When he described lasers on Saturday the 11th of October, he said the letter S stood for stimulated. It should be simulated. What a noob! Love the show. Thanks. Whoa, watch out, noob about. Maybe Darren will finally have to drink from the noob cup, Hex.
I don't know, I think actually he was right. I mean, simulated just sounds wrong to me. I mean, lasers are real, not simulated.
That's a fair point. Well, why don't we get Darren on the old Darren phone and see if he answers. Let's see what he says. Ringing. Darren? Darren?
Darren, hello.
Darren! Darren!
I heard you the first time. What can I do for you today?
Well, we have a spawnling here who says you were wrong about lasers and that the S in laser stands for simulated and not stimulated. Go!
Oh, that is cute. They think that I'd get something wrong about lasers. I can assure you that my laser facts are completely accurate.
I know lasers like the back of my scoops. It would take me too long to explain the exact science and theory behind what stimulated emissions actually are, but did you know they were theoretically discovered by Einstein himself?
So you're 100% certain that the S stands for stimulated and you're not just trying to squirrel your way out of drinking from the noob cup?
Oh, please, Hex. Of course I'm sure. These lasers we're talking about.
Right, well, you know, I am actually looking this up online as we speak, and the internet does back up what Darren is saying. So I think that's enough proof for me, Hex.
All right, well, let's move on to this one from Sam in Mareeba, Queensland. And Darren, if you could stay on the line and help us with this next question, that would be amazing.
Dear GGSP, can you please tell me how to make a computer more powerful to play a game like Spin Tires? Because I have a computer that don't have a graphics card. Please answer. Everyone do these.
Okay, so that's all of us. All right, let's do it.
That's... Well, Sam, you kind of answered your own question there. I'd suggest the best way to make your computer more powerful and able to run Spin Tires would be to simply put a graphics card in it. The heart of any gaming PC is the graphics card.
You know what though, Darren? Maybe Sam has a laptop or something like that where he can't actually put a graphics card in it.
Oh, true. And in that case, well, sorry to say, but you'd mostly be out of luck. Very few laptops are upgradable, and if you can't upgrade your hardware, then you really can't make your computer more powerful.
But if you do have a PC you can upgrade, then before you rush out and buy any old graphics card, it's worth looking at the minimum and recommended specifications of any game you want to run. The minimum specs will tell you what's the least powerful graphics card you'll need to simply run the game, while the recommended specs tell you what kind of card can run it pretty well with decent graphics settings.
Indeed, Darren. They also tell you how powerful your processor will need to be and how much RAM you need. So while just installing a graphics card will definitely make your PC more powerful, it's important to check the rest of your computer and make sure it's powerful enough to run it too.
And a simple way to check the specs of your computer is on Windows 7, for example, you go into the Start menu, click on Control Panel, and then in Performance Information and Tools, you can click here on View and Print Detailed Performance Information to get a detailed rundown of what's in your PC.
If that's all up to scratch though, then from what we can see of the Spin Tire specs, you could go with a pretty cheap and low-end graphics card and still run it fine.
But then, Bajo, you have to ask yourself if it's maybe worth spending a little bit more to get something that can run most games quite well and won't leave you wanting to upgrade again too soon.
Yes, that's true, Darren. Tough decisions. But most of all, you need to make sure you've got adult supervision when installing new hardware in a PC.
Indeed, Bajo. PC hardware can be quite fragile. If you don't know what you're doing, you could completely break your computer. And make sure your computer is powered down and unplugged from the wall before you even open it up.
That's good advice, Darren, and thanks so much for your help. On that note, we're out of time for this week, but as always, if you've got a question you'd like to ask us, then you can send it in here.
Bye, Darren. See you soon.
Goodbye.
See you soon. See you back at studio.
Goodbye.
All right, let's go.
Let's go, Hex. All right, you guys, did you know that a great idea starts with a little spark?
Project Spark's game builder is free to play on both Xbox One and Windows systems. I've got to say, guys, sitting down to build my own game was a little bit daunting at first. But after a few minutes, I was raising mountains and having a great time.
Me too! And I was impressed to see how detailed these terrain tools are. Not only can you raise and lower the ground, but you can also make it flat or hilly, rough or smooth.
You can create some really complicated landscapes with this, but thankfully the game takes you step by step through how to do it all really well, which is handy because there's no campaign mode in the free version.
That's true. By default, you can only build your own games or play games that other people have made. But if you buy the starter pack, you get a handful of extra themes to build with and a short campaign mode that introduces you to the basics.
A magical creature was creating a path out of thin air.
I was disappointed by the campaign because compared to other fantasy games, it's very limited. There's almost no storyline and the combat is just simple hacking and slashing against repetitive goblins.
I know what you mean, Darren, but I think this mode is less about being a serious campaign and more about showing us the sorts of locations and objectives we can create ourselves. It's like a showcase.
Yeah, I agree that's what they were trying to do, but I'm with Darren. I thought the campaign was a bit of a bore. I was way more inspired by browsing through the community's games. There's just so much variety, from rebuilt classics like Space Invaders to this inventive first-person maze shooter.
I found some good examples too, like this RPG that has many iconic features. Your magic blasts can be leveled up into fireballs, and there's a sword and a shield to equip, and even fetch quests.
I played that one as well. It's great, isn't it?
I found a cool zombie game with the added bonus that the zombies are adorable. You start off as a lone zombie, and you have to attack the humans to turn them into fellow zombies to help you out. I thought it was quite impressive.
All right, guys, well, we've got some good inspiration. Shall we go to the games room and get building?
Let's! Okay, whose creation should we play first?
Oh, Darren, mine. I think you'll like it. In fact, I think it may be the best piece of game design that has ever been created ever.
Oh, sounds wonderful. Let's check it out.
It's better be good, Bajo.
Yeah. Okay, let me explain this a bit, you guys. I built a 3D platformer inspired by my hero Sonic. As you can see, he moves super fast, and what we have to do is try and get this treasure up the top. But you've got no chance because I put in loads of enemies, so it's crazy hard.
Calculating speed, adjusting for gravity, optimal path to treasure locked in.
Hang on a sec, Darren, that's not right! What are you doing?
Bajo, you set the gravity too low, so I'm able to fly to the top by doing these big jumps. Victory is mine!
Darren, that's cheating. That's cheating. You cheated.
All right, Darren, my turn. Can I play your game?
Oh, affirmative. I have built a moody science fiction drama about a spaceman and his amazing technological gadget.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I can't wait. All right. Oh, lots of enemies. Oh, I see. I have a laser gun to shoot them with. Wait a second, Darren. Is this amazing gadget you were talking about just a laser gun?
Affirmative. Isn't it fantastic? Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew. So many lasers.
Well, it is a cool setting, Darren, but the game's a little repetitive. There's really not much challenge from these enemies either. I've beaten it already.
Affirmative. That's exactly how I wanted it. The laser exterminates everything.
All right, Hex, give me a go. I want to see what you got for me.
Well, I've built this beautiful RPG with a lush green landscape. You're gonna love it. There's some goblins to fight and maybe some hidden treasure.
All right, got it. Here we go. Okay. Take that, goblins. Take that. Take that, goblins. Oh, I can see a cave. Oh, there's so much treasure inside. So many gems. Oh, Hex, that was really fun. Good job.
Thanks so much.
And Darren, I liked yours too. Shall we get back to the studio?
Yes, let's.
Affirmative.
Guys, we could start our own game dev studio. That was some serious coding.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially when you get into details like all the pages of code for things like your character's behaviors, what each button does, camera angles, plus you can build all sorts of things out of basic shapes. I saw someone make a pretty good Sonic out of a bunch of cones and spheres. Guys, this is a fantastic game, but it is worth mentioning you can only play this if you have an Xbox One or if you're running a PC with Windows 8.1 or higher. Anything below that just won't work. Still, I had a great time with this. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I'm just glad to see more build-em-ups like this encouraging gamers to get creative. And this one already has a really active community that have built a huge library of games, so I'm giving it 9 out of 10. Well, we're almost at the end of the show, so let's have the answer to your challenge, Darren.
Affirmative. Earlier, I asked you which classic action RPG featured the boss, King Dodongo. And the answer is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Darren, I remember you had to make him eat the bomb.
Chomp, chomp, boom.
Next week on the show, we're going to be whisked away into a fantasy life.
Plus, Darren, it's time to grease up your mobility base plate because we're going to have a look at Just Dance 2015.
Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Darren out. Oh, can you do a moonwalk, Bajo?
I can if you give me a beat, Darren.
Affirmative. Bum bum, ba-da-dum bum, ba-da-dum bum, ba-da-dum bum.
That's just walking backwards. Anyone can do that.